So there are three root ways of communicating with our horses. Three. If you break it down to the very, very minimalist way of communication, there are three. There's physical pressure. That's anytime I touch my horse. That's my halter, that's my bit, my leg, my seat. Anytime I'm physically touching my horse to teach it something, to teach it a maneuver, to help it through issues, that is physical pressure. That's a physical way of teaching. The second way and the second thing that we do when we're working with our horses and teaching them is visual. Visual means that I'm not touching them, but I move and they respond to my body language. This is also similar to driving pressure, although driving pressure technically is always pushing your horse away. Body language enables you to push and pull your horses in the directions that you need to go just by using your body. The third is sound, voice. When you're riding and you want to go into a trot and you click into the trot or you kiss into the canter, that's our third way of communicating with our horses. There's not much else when you break it down all the way to the root system. Hey everybody, this is Shelby. I hope you guys are having a fantastic afternoon, morning, day, evening. And I have Jazz here, and we're going to go over the three ways that we communicate with our horses. This is the root, the very, very basics, where everything starts from. And then we're going to touch on a little bit on how we need to use all three of those in sync together to get the best communication with our horses. And then we're going to talk just a little bit about why we need all three of them and what happens when we lose one or two of those forms of communication with our horses. So I have Jazz here. She likes to do whatever I'm doing. She likes these videos because, well, she doesn't have to work very hard for one, and two, this horse just likes to be with me. So we're going to just touch bases on a little bit here on it, and we are going to start out on physical pressure. So physical pressure is the way of teaching is anytime. So if I pick up on my lead and I ask her to back up, I'm using that halter. It's touching her. If she needs to come forward, if I pull on the halter, it's touching her. We're physically getting our horses to move. If I'm riding my horse and I need her to yield her hindquarters over and I move my leg back and I touch her with it here, like so, that's physical pressure. That's one way that we communicate with our horses. And I know I might be talking a little bit below what most of you people understand, but I want to break it down so you can start breaking not only this down, but other things down in horsemanship even further, so you have a better understanding of what is going on and why. So the next space, sorry guys. So the next form of communication is body language. Body language is if I am not touching my horse and I move, she follows, right? So she's listening to my body language. She's coming with me. We're going to switch eyes and we're going to talk about sound. So I wasn't ready for that. She's kind of getting ahead of me here. So when it comes to that visual, it's what our body is doing and what it's telling them that we're doing. They do that in the wild, just like they use the sound, just like they use physical touch to say, hey, you're in my space, or, I like you, and they do some grooming. That's physical. And the same thing with driving. Oh my gosh, there's something in the bushes. Everybody look freaking sharp because maybe it's something that's out to get us. The third way of communication is sound. So the clicking, the kissing, the saying whoa, the other verbal cues that we use is all that by sound, right? So like say, hey, you're late, you're not coming with me yet. Or I'm ready to canter, and I'm just going to kiss and ask for the canter. No, I don't need any hugs right now. That is the sound or the voice way of communicating with our horses. The thing is that whether we want to admit or not, we use all three of these. Is it in a way that the horse understands or not? That's for your horse to tell you. So if I ask her out in a circle, here, right? I'm not using a lot of physical pressure because, yes, she has a halter on. She's working off a lot of visual. She's looking at me. So I'm going to use my sound and my body language for my visual and my sound to have her move. I don't have to use physical pressure with her anymore all the time because I use sound and body language to eliminate having to pull her for everything that I need her to do or tap her to get a response. She still responds to those things, but the physical touch is much less and lighter. So it's actually more in balance with the body language and the voice commands, the voice teaching. That's why we need to work with them all, and we need to work with them in rhythm with our horses. And what do I mean by that is if my body language is telling her to go, I can't be pulling on her at the same time because she's like, what in the world? Same thing, I can't be driving her with my body, pulling on her. See, she's like, what the heck, man? She knows when I click or kiss to her that means you're not late, but you're not in trouble, but you're a little bit late. Or like there, no, I'm not ready. I'm not looking for that. You're not in trouble, but I'm not looking for that. So why is it important that we have all three? And why do they need to work together? Because if our communication physically wise is poor, then you're holding this horse on a circle with brute strength. They're just leaning on it. There's no communication there. So then you're using all this driving pressure to make them go, but you're pulling on them. So you're sending mixed signals. That's why it's important that these things work together and that you understand that they all need to be thought of separately, and you need to understand that they're separate. But at the end of the day, you end up using all three of them. If I can't really use the bad physical communication with this horse as an example. But like I was saying, if I'm constantly pulling on that horse to hold it on a circle, it probably doesn't ride in a very good circle, at least not on a loose rein and not with your leg and seat. You might be sitting there with your reins tight, making a bend to get them to turn, and they'll do that, but you lose all the finesse and you lose the fun and the communication suffers. The visual is going to be there, whether you are aware of your body language visually teaching your horse something or not, it is. They're aware of it. It's natural for them to watch what bodies are doing. And so if I come in here, all like angry and everything else, like it makes her want to go faster. She knows that I'm just goofing around because we've done this many times for examples. So, why is the sound important? Well, the sound's important to me because it makes it where I can work my horse more balanced. I can use my driving pressure, I can use my physical pressure to get things across. But what it does is it lightens up because now I can maintain my composure of what I'm looking for from her, and I don't have to change anything. She changes gaits. See that again? See, she was late. So then I add a little bit of driving pressure or body language. So now we'll try it again. Picked up bigger trot and into the canter. A little bit late there, but she doesn't have to be perfect. Then what happens? My body stops, her body stops. My body language says, good job, you don't have to do it anymore. She stops. I don't have to pull her to a stop by using physical pressure. There's a balance of communication, and that's where I want to go. That's where I want you guys to understand that we need to balance those things out. They all three need to work together. And the best way for them all three to work together is in rhythm with the horse. The horse is rhythm, especially a trotting horse. It's an easy 4-beat rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a walk. 1, 2, 1, 2 in the trot. And our canters is a little bit wonky, but it's still rhythmic. And they do that. They're naturally rhythmic animals. So we need to work our magic ourselves to physically work with them in rhythm, to visually work with them in rhythm, and to sound or verbally work with them in rhythm. And what I mean by that is when I'm riding my horse, if I get on, I ask her to go, I don't just kick her to go. I walk in my seat, left, right, left, right. She starts to mimic my body language. I'm using physical pressure, physical training, and my body to get that horse to walk. Now, if they understand the body language and the physical, then I can maybe do less with my legs. Maybe I'm sitting up there and I say, I click to them and they start walking. I start walking in my seat. I start walking with them. Then what I can do is then I can change the tempo. I can speed up my horse or I can slow it down. Just by how when I'm riding it and walking, I can walk in my seat faster. I can use my legs and walk with my seat faster. I can click faster in rhythm with them. But it really needs to be in rhythm because it makes more sense to them because they'll just go with that rhythm. So they start the rhythm and then you change the tempo. So you can speed it up or slow it down. But this really works best if it's not just a bang, bang, bang on the sides, whether it's with a crop or with spurs or with just your legs. There's no rhythm in that. That's just, the neighbor beating on the trash can. So finding a way that you can do that just takes practice and just takes just like finding their rhythm first and then you manipulating that rhythm with them. And then just try to speed it up a little bit and then slow it down a little bit. Don't go around with your horse and if you say it won't lead somewhere and you're sitting there, they're not going to respond to that. They're just going to think you're an angry squirrel and they're just going to tune it out. Same thing if you're riding, the same principle will happen. If you just up there clicking and you're not using any physical pressure or any body language with your body to get that horse to move, they're just going to turn it off. They're not going to see a change in anything, so they're just going to tune it out. The same thing with physical pressure. If you're constantly pulling on your horses, you're constantly kicking your horses, a lot of them just stop listening because they think that's just what you're going to do because it's not rhythmic. It's not in rhythm with them. So it means even less. The same thing with your body language. If I come running up out of the woods at this horse, she's just going to smile and wave at me. But a lot of other horses, they're not going to respond to that. They're going to think that you're a predator of some sort or something that's out to get them. That leads to a little bit deeper, but we're not going to get in touch with that too much today and how emotion affects your body language. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight of where I'm going with what I want you guys to understand. Again, these are my opinions. These have worked with thousands of horses of many different breeds and many different disciplines. And if you made it this point to the video, go ahead and like, comment, go ahead and subscribe. And since you made it here, I hope you guys enjoy your day, enjoy your ride, enjoy your horses, and enjoy your lives. And if you want to get a little bit more, maybe go check out one of these videos. Thank you and enjoy your day.